Linky thinks. Linky thinks.
We're going to do show, don't tell, and it's all about emotions and describing how you feel. How does that sound? Hello. When you write a story, you want the reader to care about what's going on. You want them to empathise with the characters. A good way of doing this is to make sure you're thinking about how the characters would think and feel throughout the story. Which emotions would they be experiencing? A character might be feeling happy or sad or scared or angry at different points in the story, but those words don't really give us an interesting way of expressing emotion to the reader. Think about the image that the reader gets in their mind if you were to just say, I felt happy. The only thing that you can visualise in your brain from that is a pretty boring smiley face emoji. If you wrote, I felt sad, again, there's not much more than a boring, sad face that you can really imagine. What some people like to do is they just choose a more specific word for that emotion. Elated, joyful, blissful, chirpy, ecstatic. Or instead of sad, they might say glum, miserable, gloomy, dejected, despondent. There are loads of different names for different emotions. But the problem is, when someone's sad, they don't walk down the street just using different synonyms for the word sad. Hello, how are you? I'm terribly depressed. Thank you. So how do we know how people feel? Well, often it's in not the language that they speak, but in their body language or their behaviour. When somebody's sad, they might cry, or they might hang their head low, or they might shuffle their feet, or they might simply just sit quietly in the corner. By showing the reader how the character's behaving, that can give them clues as to how they're feeling. And this is much more interesting than simply telling them what the emotion is. For example, if I take my Linky Thinks word wheel book and I turn to my yellow emotions page, all of the phrases don't simply tell us what a feeling is called, they show us what that experience is like. So instead of I felt happy, we've got I giggled, I chuckled, I beamed. You can start to describe that inner experience in more detail with metaphors and similes. I breathed a sigh of sweet relief. It melted my heart. Laughter escaped from my lips. A spark of light twinkled within me. Instead of I was sad, I wept, I sobbed. Tears dripped down my cheeks. My heart sank. Instead of angry, I snarled, I stomped, I growled, I grumbled. He had a fire in his belly. Or for fear, it might be terror gripped me by the throat. So suddenly, instead of the boring emoji that you get in your head, something a bit more like this.
Linky thinks.
The other thing you can do is you can take a look at the Linky Thinks How Do I Feel wheel. The How Do I Feel wheel comes as a folding board with one side that's dedicated to different words for complex emotions. So instead of happy, you've got empowered, brave, confident, joyful, grateful, excited, loving, amused. Sad, you've got envious, remorseful, lonely, grief-stricken, low, longing, regretful, ashamed. Instead of angry, you've got resentful, bitter, indignant, frustrated, irritable. This is a way of understanding more subtle, complex emotions than simply happy, sad, angry, scared. And each word comes with a simple, child-friendly definition. And the other side of the How Do I Feel wheel has hands like on a clock. You've got the outer wheel and the inner wheel. The outer wheel is for outside appearance. How does someone look when they're feeling smug or overconfident or arrogant? And also the inside feelings. What's going on inside when somebody is behaving a certain way? And sometimes the way we look and behave matches what we would expect for how someone's feeling on the inside. But sometimes they're mismatched. Someone might be swaggering around confidently, but actually on the inside, their heart's beating like a drum, or they've got butterflies in their stomach. All of these different metaphorical phrases help to express the range of different emotions that can be going on inside you and the many different ways we can express them. This idea of show, don't tell is actually really important and useful across all aspects of storytelling. Wherever possible, it's always better to show the reader a visual description of what's going on rather than simply telling them. Instead of writing that something was amazing, show the reader how amazing it was by describing all the different aspects of it. If your visual description is amazing, then you never need to use the word amazing at all. The reader will automatically know that something's amazing if you show them that it is. So remember, show don't tell is always the most effective way to get across an emotion or a feeling to the reader. I hope that was useful. If it was, you can find more on linkythinks.com.
Linky thinks.